is Death. How you going, buddy?
Hey man, I'm going pretty well. How are you?
Yeah, I can't complain. It's starting to get into the thick of it. We got a good match tonight. That's
Sure
that's
do.
that's it, man. Like I'm happy to be here.
Pumped up for some StarCraft, Zeph. Um, how about you introduce the match for tonight? What teams are going to be playing?
Well, I heard it's going to be Legacy versus OSC Elite, and I think
Ooh.
that's a pretty cool matchup. Legacy putting their first point on the board last week against 1F Pro. Very important win for them. Otherwise, it'd be a very steep climb to try and get into those grand finals. And OSC Elite is in a bit of a troublesome position in this week. They really need their wins.
Both teams really do. Loss here probably excludes them from the running for the grand final. Either team, really. And if we have a look at the lineups for tonight, it's looking pretty sweet, I have to say. I mean, we're going to be starting off things, Zeph, with a bit of a storyline. We're going to have T-Gun returning to the fray after, what, 4, maybe 5 years, really, outside of the competitive scene for StarCraft. He kind of betrayed us and went and played some other game run by a competing publisher. Won't name names. But he's done very well in that, and he's just come back for a little bit of fun in the ANZ Pro League. And he'll be going up against probably the best player on OSC Elite right now in Demi.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty sick match. Demi is one of those guys in OSC Elite that everyone watches out for when they come up against this team. If they're planning strats, it's generally Demi that I think they'd be planning the most for because he is the scariest player on there.
Yeah.
I guess pretty formidable as well. He'll be coming in match 3 against Azure. Gone are the days of his TVT though. As we'll mention again, he is Zerg, so it's going to be a TVZ. Unsure who's going to win that one. But before that, it's Catalyst for Pig Junior versus Vivid. So we've actually got a couple of exciting TVZs there, and wrapping it up with Probe versus Illusory on Neon Violet Square.
And if we make it that far, we'll go to an ace match on Blackpink to cap off the evening. I think the real story is going to be how good is Igers in that Zerg versus Terra matchup. He's going up against Azure, who we haven't seen too much of in the team league so far. I think the only match we've seen him play was a Terran versus Protoss that I think even he would say that he underperformed in. I think that was against Blisk on Battle on the Boardwalk. But if Igers can get a win there, he really keeps OSC Elite's dreams alive. But I feel like looking at the matchup, I'd expect Demilove for OSC to take that first map, and then I could easily see Legacy win those next 3 maps. I think Pig Jr.'s in form. He's undefeated, and it would be a little unfair, I think, to unfavor him for this series against Vivid. I think he's got a good matchup there. And I feel like Azure probably going to take out Igers. Pro probably beats Illusory pretty quickly. And so I'm predicting a 3-1 for Legacy. What about you?
Yeah, I am feeling Legacy tonight. I think they've got a strong lineup, and I know they've been planning their games against the opponent teams quite well, and that preparation is definitely paying off now. I mean, they had a fantastic performance last week where we weren't really sure if they were going to be able to put the points on the board.
That was so close.
Yeah, it went to the ace match, and it was well worth the watch. If you missed those, check out the VODs. But yeah, I do think they have the slightly stronger lineup here, and I think a 3-1 is not an unfair prediction. Sorry to be boring and not take the other side.
It's all right. It's all right. You don't have to do that whole cast of cliche. It's fine.
I do want to be surprised by OSC Elite, though. Maybe they'll make us eat our words very quickly, because obviously they're preparing as well. It's not like they're going into this blindly being like, oh, let's just see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of preparation that goes into these matches, so I wouldn't be surprised if they proved us wrong either.
And that last match from Legacy was just the whole match. Every single map was an upset.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see something that crazy tonight, but you know, anything can happen, and just 1 or 2 upsets can really swing the tide of battle very, very quickly. So we're going to be jumping into the game in just a second here, and Let's also, while this map will be loading, we can actually have a chat about Thursday's draft. It's going to be the first time anyone's actually got access to this information. It's going to be Downfall versus SYF Gaming, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And it's going to have Pez versus Hut, Blisk versus Seether, Luneth versus Crimson, and Ice versus Mighty Kiwi. So I'm already very excited for that other match that'll be coming up later this week, Seth.
Exactly, that's going to be really awesome. Both those guys currently leading in the points for this team league. But at the moment, we are in to Ascension to Aya for our first map of the week between Legacy and OSC Elite. Let's introduce this player in the top left in the red from OSC Elite. It's Demi.
And down here in the bottom right, in the pink, playing for Team Legacy, it's tgun. The big question I think that's going to be on everyone's mind is how much has tgun actually had time to practice? I know his schedule's pretty busy, got all sorts of commitments going on in the gaming arena, but maybe he's just found the time to get good at this game again.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see him come back into the lineup. At first, I didn't believe the hype. I was like, yeah, okay, sure, nice meme. But he's actually back here, which is something that I've been hoping to see for a really long time. He's a super passionate player, and I really enjoyed his play. It's often, I remember him being often quite aggressive, a little bit cheeky. He would get into these ridiculously long games in the silliest scenarios sometimes as well. I have some of the games I remember most from like the 2012 era are cemented in my brain, and they were tgun games because they were just so fun to watch. So really glad to see him here, but I don't know, can you kill someone like Demi? I feel like he'd almost have a better chance in a non-ZVZ matchup. I don't know if you agree.
It just depends on the player that he'd be playing against. I mean, I feel like tgun could have come out and beaten maybe someone like Vivid, maybe even Igers if he got really lucky. But going up against someone like Demi, arguably the strongest Zerg player or one of the strongest Zerg players in our region at the moment, is just such a tough ask. And tgun's very good at StarCraft, very good at video games in general, don't get me wrong. And I will never forget the moment. 2012, it's not really a happy story for tgun how this one goes, but 2012 on stage, WCS Mafia, I think, was the player against tgun for all the chips, and Mafia won it. And there was some roach burrows and all sorts of craziness happening on the match, and everyone ran up on stage and hugged Mafia after his victory. One of the absolute most vivid memories that I have ever playing StarCraft or being at an event.
Sure, I'm pretty sure my butt was clenched for that entire match too. It was a good one, and as great as it was to see Mafia win, it was really crushing to see tgun lose in that one as well. So I do hope that he struts his stuff again in this team league. He is about to get hit by a bunch of lings from Demi. It doesn't look like he's continuing to commit to this, but he is being a little cheeky. He's got a couple of Banes morphed up towards the north. One of these queens already going to get picked off, and tgun having to pull the drones here already to try and help fight.
Oh, it's not looking good for tgun. Losing a couple of those queens, he almost has that spine crawler up, and he may be able to defend this. It does look like Demi is just pretty content with doing some damage and backing off, getting his economy back up and ahead of his opponent. Really nice worker snipes, and now Demi is up to 32 workers against just 20 from tgun.
Yeah, that was supposed to just be like a cute little poke too. I'm not sure Demi would have expected that to do as much damage as it did. 8 worker kills, 2 queen kills. That is pretty darn good for a small group of lings and a couple of banes. So tgun not in the ideal droning position here. He's got 18 against 34, but he does have other plans.
He certainly does, adding down the Roach Warren and a Nidus Canal, or a Nidus Network. he'll be looking to get things started pretty soon. I feel like the Nidus network is actually mistimed because it's going to finish around the same time as the Roach Warren, and then T-Gun needs to build Roaches and then rally them in. So this isn't going to time out particularly well. And look at this, Demi already going to bully away one of these Overlords up at the top. So restricting the vision from T-Gun going to make it pretty frustrating for him to get much damage done.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit difficult. And Demi, if he defends, is going to be in a brilliant position. Now, we do have the Queens loading into that Nidus Worm. He's kind of having a hard time even getting the vision here up towards the main to put that Nidus in. Considering that Demi did manage to get into the main base as well, he saw that Lair was coming up very quickly, so he probably has a decent idea of what that could be. So the Nidus is going to start to pop down here near the third base instead.
T-Gun does have a much bigger army than Demi at this point, but Demi will be able to make a lot of roaches very quickly, Zeph. And there goes the first Nidus Worm. Nothing coming out of it just yet. A secondary Nidus Worm coming up here, so we might see some multi-prong harass from T-Gun, but being 30 supply down and with the element of surprise already being non-existent here, I just can't see this doing very much at all.
Well, he's going to have to try that Nidus in the main. Doesn't stand a chance. It gets popped right away. But it looks like he will be able to take out this third base at the very least. Those Queens have a lot of energy on them as well. He's going to drop a creep tumor. Why not?
Dude. This game is more ogre than the Shrek franchise. Like, this just not good. Demi up to 94 supply. He's got 48 workers to 17 from T-Gun. He could lose his entire army twice over and still be pretty much fine, I feel. That +1 also finishing up. Roach speed on the way. T-Gun will try and do anything that he can to get back in. I'm just trying to scratch my head like, is there a way? Is there something that he can maybe do?
Yeah, you know, T-Gun's this kind of guy that can play a very wonky sort of style in ZVZ. I think so far this is definitely not the comeback he was hoping for his first match here with Legacy, but he's going to try for the Spire now. Unfortunately, Demi scoots on in with an Overseer right away and sees that, so kind of shown his hand there already. But let's see if T-Gun's able to make something of this. I mean, he's gone back to droning for the moment, and he did get Demi's third, so if he can hold against Demi's next push, maybe he'll be okay. Although he's just loaded up as Demi's starting to move out on the map here.
Yeah, it looks like maybe T-Gun will try some multi-prong. He's got this Overlord going down to the south, maybe looking for the fourth base, seeing if he can get a deny, but this is a lot of roaches streaming across the map from Demi. And this attack will be barreling down T-Gun's front door any second now. The Roach speed just finished. One Spine Crawler, that's pretty much it. A wall is being thrown up from T-Gun as Demi comes into the natural, doing a lot of damage. He's going to quickly win this fight. And with the Mutas just now starting production, it looks like T-Gun's going to lose everything on the ground.
Yeah, it's not looking good. He's tried to make something happen across the other side of the map, I think, but at the same time, all these roaches are going to just chew through everything, and GG, Demi will put a point on the board.
Yeah, nice quick win there from Demi. Not entirely unexpected, but still a very good win for him. It was so convincing. He was just in control, in command every step of the way. Love to see T-Gun back, though, and I want to see what he does and how he improves in the next week. Yeah,
definitely hope to see more of him, but hard to go up against a guy like Demi, who is actually one of the scariest players we have in the region at the moment. So well done to him, putting a point on the board there. And we will move on into Pig Jr. versus Vivid on Catalyst. Now, can OSC Elite stick a second point up there, or is Pig Jr. gonna even it out? What do you reckon?
I think OSC has a chance here. I feel like Pig Jr. may not be as rested and as practiced for this week as maybe in previous weeks. This comes from some chats that I've had behind the scenes, but we'll see what happens. I'm not sure how much Vivid's really been practicing. He's looked decent in his games that I've seen so far. But I feel like Pig Jr. has just been that like extra little bit better in all the games that I've seen from him recently. He's showing some class. He's showing that he has what it takes, and I feel like there's going to be a penny drop moment in 2018 where Pig Jr. just rises up out of himself and gets to a top 8 in WCS. I really feel like that's a strong possibility.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. So, guys, we'll take a quick couple of minutes break. Thanks for bearing with us with the sound issues. We'll get those sorted out, and we'll come back for Catalyst with Pig Jr. versus Vivid. Don't go away.